At Streams Ministries, we often get asked about dream elements, and since we started doing some dream elements videos, we've found some that we have not discussed on these videos. So we're going to be doing a short series going through some of the dream elements that we haven't released yet. If you've seen some of the other dream elements, you've got a treat coming. We're going to start out with a couple questions about food. Now, we've talked about food. Food would represent some type of teaching, some type of spiritual nourishment. We get this from Scripture. The milk of the Word, the meat of the Word, this idea that things that we partake of, it nourishes our spirit. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. So teaching would be the meaning of food. The question was, what about leftovers? Let's say you go to a restaurant in your dream and you've got leftovers and you're taking the leftovers home. What would that mean? Well, thinking about that concept, you went to a place to learn, you went to a place to receive spiritual nourishment, and you received more than what you were able to process at that time, but you didn't just leave it behind. You took it with you so that it could continue to feed you, continue to nourish you in another time. So it would be talking about some kind of spiritual nourishment that you've received that wasn't just about the moment that you received it, but it's going to be an ongoing thing that you're going to be able to take it home and continue to be nourished by that. So that was one of the questions about food. Another question about food is, well, what would it be if you were eating, say, another culture's food? So maybe it's Chinese food, or it's Mexican food, or it's Italian food, something along those lines. And you can tell that I'm from America. I just hit our major cultural foods that are here. But whatever culture you are, when you're eating culture food from a different culture, that would be saying that you're receiving spiritual nourishment from a different culture. Now, that actually could be a spiritual culture. Let's say that you are part of a denomination. It could be saying that you're going to receive nourishment from a different denomination, or maybe a different stream of the church than the one that you're familiar with. Maybe you're part of the charismatic movement, or you're part of the prophetic movement. It could be saying that you're going to receive nourishment from another, maybe the Anglican, or maybe the Pentecostal, or maybe the Methodist, or maybe the Baptist, something along those lines. So it's talking about a different spiritual culture. Now, what if it's not spiritual? Because food is not always spiritual food. It could be any kind of teaching that we're ingesting. And so looking at the type of food, generally when it's healthy, the environment, it's probably more spiritual food, but it could be taking on or learning about that culture itself. So it could be not necessarily that it's the spiritual environment, but that it's actually about the culture itself. So you're eating Chinese food and you're going to be learning about the culture, the Chinese culture, and what that's about and what are the unique elements of that culture. So those are a couple different possibilities, and remembering with every dream element, the context in the dream, how that element is being used is going to tell you a whole bunch as to why it would be this or why it would be that. So there's another interesting dream element.